Hey y'all, welcome back to Just a Girl Talk. My name is Janine and I'm so happy to be here. It is Wednesday, November 6th, and the election is officially over, y'all. It is over. I can't believe it. I'm in shock because it feels like it has been forever, right? Since all this has happened, since Joe dropped out, Kamala got into office. Like it's been, in the running, it's been kind of crazy, but it's over. And we officially have a new president walking into the White House for the second time, Mr. Donald J. Trump. And I know that has left so many people disappointed, so many people upset, especially women. And I want to talk about that right there, right? Where I'm here today to talk about not my political views per se and who I voted for, anything like that, but we're talking about us as women and our bodies. And what does this mean now that we were, a lot of women were counting on Kamala winning for the sake of women's rights when it comes to our body, what we can do, what we can't do. So a lot of women are disappointed. A lot of women are feeling hopeless. A lot of women are sad. I've seen so many just really sad posts and people talking about how their friendships are going to change, and it's just like it's a really crazy time right now. If I'm being, it's really crazy. So before I jump into it, I want to first say this before anyone takes my words out of context. I am coming from a very genuine place. I'm not here to blame anyone, beat any woman down. I'm just here to educate and let us know that we have power and control. I just dropped a video on my YouTube channel about this, so you guys can go back and watch this after. But I just want to make that known for anyone feels like I'm attacking anyone or making women feel like what they, if something happened to them, it doesn't matter. That's not the case at all. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a video where our VP Kamala Harris talks a little bit about just, her thoughts on women's rights and what she had planned to do in response to Donald Trump, and we can get into the conversation. But I want to share that first, and then we can, because I think it's important to, which important to hear. This is important because I think women are lost right now. They're really feeling lost. They're really feeling um like they don't know which way to go. They don't know if they're going left or right. And I feel really sad. It just really saddens me that this has this has us feeling like we don't know what else to do with ourselves. You understand what I'm saying? That's how it feels for me. That's what it feels like to me. So let me share the clip and then we can come back and we'll talk about it. So let's get into this. And yeah. Okay. Let's go. Let me make sure it's up. Sound is up.
Chart a new way forward. I will comment on the former president Donald Trump's remark about women and whether they like it or not. And listen, it actually is, I think, very offensive to women in terms of not understanding their agency, their authority, their right, and their ability to make decisions about their own lives, including their own bodies. And this is just the latest on a series of reveals by the former president of how he thinks about women and their agency. Whether he has said, as he has, that women should be punished for their choices, whether he has talked about his pride in taking away a fundamental right from women, whether it be how he has actually created a situation in America where now 1 in 3 women lives in a Trump abortion ban state and has legal restrictions on the right she rightly should have to make decisions about her own body. The other.
All right, y'all. So I'm gonna pause it right there because there was a lot said, and again, I understand. I very much understand But I want to really own in on the part where taking away women's power, taking away women's rights. I want to just make this very clear to the women who are watching now and who will see this in the future. You still very much have power over your body. Excuse me. You have power, you have control. And do not let this situation and feeling like because Kamala laws, excuse me, there is no hope left for you. Let's be responsible with our bodies. Let's be more, treat our bodies like it's a diamond. Treat it like it's precious. Treat it the way that God wanted us to treat our bodies. Not treat it like it's a piece of trash. Not treat it like it's a piece of nothing. God didn't intend for our bodies to be used and abused the way that a lot of us, are with our bodies. That's not what God intended. And I think that the unfortunate side about this conversation is women are unsure how to move now. And to me, it's like very simple, right? A lot of us have now have to be responsible. I think that's the biggest piece for a lot of women. I have to now be responsible for my body. That's the part that is going to throw a lot of women off mess. And that's the sad part about our society. I think that women are going to have to be more responsible. And if they don't, then this is going to affect children, right? This is where children are going to be born into situations with mothers who are irresponsible. And then we will have a bigger problem from the foster care system to just that whole system, just by us not wanting to be responsible. And that's really what I wanted to kind of come on here and talk about, is women not having to feel like, oh, well, it's over for me. I'm going to just be out here reckless. Like, don't turn this into a defiant behaviors because you feel like, oh, well, I don't have any choice now, because you have all the choices. Like, we just really get caught up on like one thing. And as I said, like, Roe versus Wade was overturned. It took away our constitutional right to, do that. But it has not taken away the right for you to close your legs. It hasn't taken away for the right for you to say no. It has taken away with the right of you from getting on birth control. There are so many layers and steps that go into how we move in the world before we even have to get to that point of what should I do, right? And I feel like there's so many women have been in that situation and had to make that decision, which I'm sure is not an easy decision to do. But now for a lot of women, there's even people talked about this on TikTok earlier about how women are making jokes about not being able to go out and do it when they want to. Like, that's a sad, sick mindset that it's like a joke. Like, what I'm gonna do now? Like, that's how our minds are operating. Like, it's not stop laying down with men. It's not get on birth control. It's like, oh my God, what I'm gonna do now? Like that, because that was the only way that you saw handling your business. And I think that it sets a very bad example for children, young people watching us, growing up, seeing this. It makes them think that they don't have to be responsible because there's always an out. There's always an out. And now it puts the ownership back on us as women to be accountable for our actions, accountable for who we lay down with, accountable for who we decide to procreate with. Like, we've always been responsible, but this, I look at it as like, maybe this was necessary, right? Maybe this is the way God is saying, this is how I want women to be now. Stop being loose, stop being reckless. And I don't know, because I know in the clip I share, Kamala talked about Trump saying he wanted women to be punished. And I did see the clip, and if I could try to find it, he did say, when someone asked him that question, he didn't give an answer as to how. So he said it was a very complicated situation of like how you should be punished. So it was out of context. Like, yes, he did say yes, but he didn't really say go to prison. He just said it's very complicated. Right? It's very complicated. So that could be a multitude of ways to be punished. And I think there's also, again, there's so much context to like the extremities of women who choose to make that just their birth control, and a young person who made a poor choice. And like, it's so many layers to like, it's not black and white, in my opinion. But I know what is black and white is your choice, open your legs or not. It's either you open them or close them. You be responsible or you don't. And I'll say this again, so no one can, twist my words, take it out of context, that this is not for any woman who is in a situation where she's been SA, she's been raped. Like, I'm not talking about anything that is not your choice. If it was not your choice and it was, I'm not referring to you. And my heart goes out to any woman who's going through that, who's currently going through that, will go through that. That's not what we're referring to, because we know that as much as we know that this stuff happens, the large majority of unaliving of, in that way is not because of SA and grief. Right? It's not. So yes, we can get into the what do we do if this happens, or and things like that with children. Those things happen. We're not going to deny that, but that's not the large majority of why women choose to use the clinic in that way. A lot of it is just poor choices, irresponsible, just want to do what I want to do, and then there's my out. So I think this is going to really it's going to really be the turning factor for women being who's really a grown woman and who's really mature. Like, are you even responsible enough to be having sex? Like, that's the question now. Because it says for a lot of us that you're not responsible. You're too reckless. You're way too reckless. And a lot of time women talk about the whole like condom thing, where I think women are probably the ones in today's society. Now, this is how messed up it is, that they don't even want men to use the condoms. So we used to have that narrative that, oh, well, the men are trying not to use condoms. But this is from grown-ups, but even I've seen this with children, where I've seen a message myself from one of my students saying, like, look what this girl, like, she doesn't even want me to use a condom. And the boy is like I'm thrown off. How, like, because they're not used to a girl saying that. So it's like, well, what do I do? What do I do? And even at a young age, these young women don't even want to be responsible with their bodies. They don't want to be responsible with their bodies. They don't even want to be responsible enough to take birth control. They just don't. They have every excuse why they don't take birth control. They complain, but they're not complaining about not having sex. They just don't want to be responsible. I don't want to. I don't got time. I'm not gonna remember. I'm gonna get fed. I'm gonna break out. Like, you got all. So okay. So if you don't want a child, and you shouldn't even be having a child or even having sex at all, but you're going to do it anyway, why not try to be as cautious and careful? Because number one, not just children, but there are infections, deadly ones you can't cure. So again, we just have to be responsible. We just cannot keep making excuses and look at this loss as the end all be all for women all across the world. We really cannot, y'all. We can't do this. We really can't do this. We really have to not be a victim, pick ourselves back up, realize you have power, realize that you have control, and do better. Do better. There's I'm sure a lot of guilt and shame that comes with making certain decisions, but the best thing you can do is learn from your choices, learn from your mistakes, to not do them again. And unfortunately, this out that many of us have had as women has not caused us to learn from our choices, caused us to learn from our mistakes. It hasn't. And that's the unfortunate reality of the situation, that, again, we can either decide to go up and really take off and do the best job we can with being more responsible, or we can either view it as, oh, well, I might as well just give up. Who cares? Who cares? Y'all, hold on. This man did not just come up here. Turn on the shower. My apologies, y'all. But we can't, y'all. We really just have to be more mindful. Realize that you have the power. You have the power. You have the power. A lot of these men are they're not worthy of your body. They're not. They are not worthy of your body at all. Shouldn't even be nowhere. They shouldn't even be able to even breathe near you, let alone even be laying down with you. And a lot of us don't realize that until after. Oh, I don't. You should have known that before, sis, if you were being more responsible. If you were being more choosy, if we were being raised to value our bodies more, to love our bodies more. Because like I said, I'm raising my daughter to understand that your body is not for you to just treat like a piece of meat or allow anyone else to treat it like a piece of meat. You be responsible. You wait till marriage. Like I want her to understand like how precious her body is, how beautiful her body is. That's what I want. I want my daughter to just know that it is so precious, so beautiful that no one gets to play with my body. No one. No one gets to play with my body. And a lot of us have not been raised that way. A lot of us have not realized and recognized that no one should be able to play with your body. But again, if you have this mentality now, as a lot of women do, my body, my choice, that means you can do whatever you want with your body. And that has really tarnished us. That has really tarnished us. Because yes, you get the right to say yes or no to what you want for your body, but just out here living a reckless life, a dangerous life, is come on. This is not going to work. This is not going to work. And it's affecting children. Children are going to be affected. And that is what I always talk about this. I got my tubes tied after my second child. I knew I only wanted 2 kids. I only wanted 2 children. So what did I do? I didn't want to be on birth control. And I decided to just get my tubes tied. And if I'm being all the way honest, I remember people talking about this all the time. Like when you're married, in order for you to get your tubes tied, you have to be married. I mean, in order for you to get your tubes tied, the hospital has to get consent from your doctor. I mean, oh my God. In order to get your tubes tied, the hospital has to get consent from your husband. And that's what I thought. But my husband was going to consent anyway. He would jump in consenting. But so when I asked my doctor, could I get my tubes tied? She was like, sure. You want to sign the paper now, just in case? Like, because she was like, just in case something happened and we can already have it on file. And I was like, I don't need nothing else. Like, you don't need my husband. She was like, no, you can sign it yourself. So that's probably a state by state, certain hospitals. I don't know. But I was like, cool. I mean, I let my husband know that I was going to do it. So it wasn't like any surprise, but that's also again, for me not to get pregnant as a married woman. I'm not exempt. I need to be responsible with my body. If I don't want more kids or not, I make certain, put certain things in place. So I just think that there's so many ways that we can be proactive, right? We can be proactive and not make excuses and woulda, coulda, shouldas. Like you can be proactive. We can prevent so much we can almost prevent heartbreak and pain and destruction and hardships if we are more responsible with our bodies. That's a big factor because children are a lot. They cost a lot of money. It's a lot, right? And it will bring a lot of stress. It will bring so much to you. So many, so much on you. So if I know I don't want that, if I know that I don't want to deal with that, if I don't want to be in that situation, I'm going to do whatever I can to prevent that. And again, if more of us as women were being raised to just save our bodies, to be responsible with our bodies, we wouldn't even be in this situation. We wouldn't even be in here out, we wouldn't be out here fighting like this if we were raised to be responsible for our bodies, raised to be responsible for who we lay down, take accountability for our actions. Not taking accountability is the reason we're in this situation, and a lot of bad situations, because we keep trying to move the goalposts and act like, well, I didn't know. Well, it wasn't on me, but he didn't use a condom. But you give him access. We give access, lady. We give access. Okay, we give access. So that's the point blank and a period of this whole conversation, y'all. We really have to slow down and stop trying to find an alternative way out of being responsible. That's what I want. We have to just stop trying to find another way. Just be responsible, and you don't got to worry about all the other stuff. You don't. So this is my words of encouragement for all the women who are struggling today. You got this. It is not over. You have power. You have control. And like I said, well, make sure you subscribe to the channel. But I also dropped a video on this same topic on my page. So go ahead and check it out and comment, share it out. Send people over to the channel so they can enjoy the content as well. And let me know what you guys think. Okay, let's talk about it. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next episode of Just a Girl Talk on my profile or back here on live. Bye. Let's get this thing ended. See y'all later.